Hello, YouTube people. This is the third time I'm doing this because for some reason this keeps cutting out and I don't know why. So I'm going to make this quick because I'm tired of doing it over and over and over again. Today is July 11th. I am, this video is for the 14-day update on keto, my little keto experiment. However, I was supposed to weigh in and do this video on the 8th, so I am late and I am sorry. Last week I lost 2.2 kilos, which is about a kilo down from what I lost the first week that I was on keto, which I expected because I am doing better with my electrolytes, and that means that I am retaining more water than I was before. So I'm not losing as much fluids, which is a good thing because I also don't have headaches and I've overcome the keto flu. So week 2 was great. By day 10, day 12, I was starting to feel really, really good. You saw my update for day 10. By day 14, not a lot had changed. But I was having less headaches. I was having more ease body-wise. And now it is day 14, 15, 16, 17, day 17. And I have no keto flu signs, no symptoms of keto flu. I feel great. And it's been awesome. My diet, my macros are more on point this week. It's been, now that I'm like in a rhythm and I picked the same few meals to keep going on. I know what they have and I know how to combine them and to make them into like a daily plan. It's much easier. And so I don't feel like deprived. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel like stress about eating, which is awesome. And also because the keto diet makes you kind of like not that hungry, I tend to not eat until like 12 o'clock. And then, 12 o'clock I eat, and then I don't eat again until maybe 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. And because I'm only having like 2 meals, and my first meal is actually really low calorie, usually my first meal of the day is like asparagus or Brussels sprouts or whatever, combined with a high fat, so butter, or cooked in a high fat like butter. And because that's pretty much what I eat, because it's super easy to like take with me to work, my end meal of the day, or when I get home from work around 5 or 6, I have bucos of calories to play with for my evening meal, and it can be huge and it's super satisfying. Although honestly, I try not to eat too many calories at one time, just because I feel like that's a little hard on the body, especially when it's really, really high fat. I feel like it takes so long to digest fat anyway, that I feel like that's maybe too much at one time. So I try to do like 2 smaller meals at the end of the day. And usually what happens is I get home from work around 4 o'clock or 4:30. And even though I still have like work to do in the house, like I still have outside work that I do in the home, I'm able to like schedule my meal around that time. So I end up having a meal right when I get home, or I try to have a meal right when I get home, and that might be 500 calories. But because I've only eaten 600 calories for the day or 500 calories for the day, before that, I still have another 500-700 calories to deal with later. So within a very short window, within like 4 hours, I'm eating about 1,000 calories, which is kind of a lot. Or sometimes I even eat like 1,500 calories within a very small amount of window. Now keep in mind, at this point, my weight is high enough. My calorie needs are higher than the average human being. So my caloric needs are, 29,000 or not 29. Yeah. I need 29,000 calories to live. How awesome would that be? Well, no, it wouldn't be awesome, but okay. Don't go too deep, Liz. Don't go too deep. Bring it back. Take it in a notch. So I'm doing really well in that. And I enjoy having a large meal before dinner and then a small snack. Or I enjoy having a large meal for dinner and then a small snack. And when I say small snack, I mean like 1 keto cookie, because I love chocolate. and they're they're keto friendly, so I can have that chocolate. So that's been really good for me. I'm in a routine now where, I'm eating a low calorie lunch that's still high in fat, by eating the majority of my greens at that time. And then I eat a really large, delicious, nutritious dinner when I get home. And sometimes I have a snack afterwards if I have the calorie allowance. Sometimes I have 2 snacks if I have too many calories. If I'm really, really low on calories, I will force myself to eat more. Only because, and I know that some people won't agree with this, but I've said it before, I'm actually doing a very aggressive calorie cut. And so I feel like even if I'm not hungry, if I dip too low below that aggressive calorie cut and I go too aggressive, I'm afraid I'm going to stall my weight loss by really drilling my metabolism. So I'm trying to hit my calories where they're at. If I'm only like a couple hundred calories away from what I need to be and I'm not hungry, I'll be fine. But like if I still have another 400 calories left in my diet that that I'm supposed to be, or that is allowed for that day, and I haven't reached yet, I'm going to eat. I'm going to make myself something to eat. And usually what I try to do is make it very, 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 very high fat and really, really, really low quantity, so I don't feel overly full or overly sick by what I'm eating. Okay. So my macros have been better. I've been staying within them much better now. I've learned how to get my protein in, when I can get my protein in, and how to get my fats in. I've added electrolytes to my water every morning. I've decided to stop looking for like mixes, and I just looked up a recipe online, and now I make my own because it's easier that way and I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm feeling great. I feel good. My energy is really stable. Even on days I don't get a lot of sleep, like I've only slept 4 or 5 hours, once I'm awake and I feel good, and I don't have to worry about like that afternoon crash business. I feel great all day. And I've actually noticed myself, like my heat in my body is higher and really warm. I mean, it's summer in Korea, but I feel like all the time I'm like just really warm. And if you are somebody who understands like you know what I'm saying. If you're somebody who understands thermodynamics, like in how the body works and everything, you know when your metabolism is revved and you feel warm. Also, I've noticed that I am healing my boo-boos. I've gotten some boo-boos and they're healing really fast. Also, my skin is really starting to clear up, so I know that my hormones are starting to rebalance. Goodness. And my skin, even usually when I have a bad breakout, my skin takes about 1.5 months to heal. And this breakout was finished maybe about a week ago. It was pretty much over with, and now it's already almost clear. That's a huge thing for me. That is impressive. Oh, one more thing about energy. I just know that I noticed in general that I have more energy. I'm moving more. I'm not like intimidated by the stairs. I'm not like, if my daughter's dancing, I just dance with her. I'm that type of person who wants to be active anyway, but being this heavy I didn't realize how much I was not doing until I started being able to do it again. I'm usually the type of person who likes to be active. I'm the type of person who hears a song and starts dancing and singing and having good time in that. I'm the type of person who likes to walk around. I used to be a consistent pacer. I'm not sure that was a good thing. But I'm somebody who generally stays busy. And when I was bigger before I was on keto and I was losing this weight, I didn't do anything. Like, I sat down for everything. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like, I was getting to the point where it was like, I would be washing dishes and my back would start to hurt, or my feet would start to hurt, or my legs would feel tired. And I would want to sit down washing dishes. Do you know how long it takes to wash dishes? Even with 7 people in our family, it doesn't take longer than 30 minutes to wash dishes. And if you can't stand for 30 minutes, there, you know, I mean, barring like back issues and stuff, like, you should think about that. You know what I mean? And it was hard to do anything that I had to like bend over for, like put on my socks, put on my shoes. I had to sit down to do those things. I couldn't just stand there and do it. I didn't have the stability or the strength to do it at that weight. And there was a lot of activities that I avoided, like dancing for no reason, because I just didn't have the energy. I had no desire to even join in at all. And I just noticed, like, especially this last week, I just feel like a real uptick of energy. And, you know, my daughter, my 2-year-old, starts dancing to Frozen. And now we're dancing together. Woo! You know, and it wasn't like I was like, I should exercise. I just did it. So that feels good. That's one of those non-scale victories where you recognize that you are fundamentally changing your behaviors, not on purpose, but it's just happening because it's easier. Life is easier. Those are things that I'm excited by. Getting out of my truck today without, you know, here in Korea, trucks are parked very close together. Or any vehicles are parked very close together, and you only have like a foot to get in and out of the truck or in and out of the vehicle. And as a big woman in a big truck, it's almost impossible to get out. And I usually have to park next to a pole so that I have extra room behind the pole, so I'm not hitting another car with my door. And if I hit anything with the door, it's the pole. My pole, or the door, doesn't look very good. I'm not gonna lie to you. To get out of the car now that I'm driving. And today I didn't have to worry about that. I parked between 2 vehicles because that was what was there. That was the only parking space that was left. And I got out without damaging any vehicles. That's a huge thing for me here. That's a huge thing. And I've noticed that I have lost a lot of weight on my midsection this week. I feel like my stomach is really pulling in, which is fantabulous. And I feel like my legs and my thighs are really losing weight. I also noticed that my breasts are getting a little bit smaller. I had to move the band here tighter because they're not as low. And I'm now on the tightest rung of my bras, which means I need to get new bras. Or I'm going to have to like sew those extra thingy on there. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. And it's great. It feels great. I'm glad. I'm so happy. Because this is like one of the biggest burdens of my life. I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't know if I've never really stated it, but at my largest, and you can see that they are very large. But when I was right after I finished breastfeeding my daughter, I was still a 42J. And these are still 42J bras. So thank you, Lane Bryant. But these are 42J, but now I'm not quad boobing. Now they actually sit inside the cups where they belong. So chances are I was larger than a J at one point. I don't even know what the next size up. I think it's a K. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. K. It's K. At one point I was probably a K, but right now I'm a J. And keep going. Keep going. That's all I would love for them to just nothing would make me happier. So everything's fitting better. Even my shoes feel strangely loose. And I knew that was a possibility, that you could lose weight in your feet. But I don't think I expected it this early. So maybe it's just loss of fluid in my feet. I'm not as swollen as I usually am. Focus wise, I feel super focused. I feel super clear, especially first thing in the morning. I'm just like zip. And oddly, right after my afternoon meal, I'm also like zip. Like right now, I feel really, really super focused and like I have a lot of energy. And it's probably because I just took in a large amount of energy. I did eat a pretty substantial meal just now. And because I had only had my regular meal during the day. So I decided to go ahead and get a big meal. I still have enough calories left over and enough macros left over today that I'm going to probably eat maybe a couple 100 grams of cauliflower with some butter and even a keto cookie. Yay. And it's 6 o'clock. So, yeah, once you get into a routine, it's super, super easy. I know everybody says you have to have discipline to do keto, and you do, but you have to have discipline for any diet. And let's face it, you have to have discipline to be fat. It's just not the type of discipline you want, right? You know, when you're fat, there's always a part of you that is telling you, stop. We can't live like this anymore. This hurts. Stop. Don't put that in your mouth. Stop. I can't do this. I'm depressed. I hate myself. There is always something. There's always a voice in the back of your head that is telling you to stop for whatever reason. It takes discipline to ignore that voice. So if you're using your discipline anyway, and you are using your willpower anyway, why not resist the food instead of resisting the voice that's telling you to stop? Why not listen when your body says, look, bitch, it fucking hurts. Stop. Listen to that voice. You're either going to listen to the food or you're going to listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself when it says, I hate this. I hate this body. I hate what you're doing to me. You're hurting me. Listen to yourself. Because you are using discipline either way. Choose the discipline that is going to push you forward and make you happy long term. Not something that is going to continue to cause problems and compound your issues. And honestly, people say that you need if you're going to do this, if you're going to do keto, you can't have any cheat meals. You can't do this, and you need a lot of discipline. I really don't feel like I need that much discipline on this diet. I really don't. Once you've eaten on this diet, you don't feel like eating. I know that sounds, strange, but any woman who is my size, or any person who is my size that I am now or that I was, you know what it's like to eat a full meal, like even a double or triple size portion meal. And then 30 minutes later, you're like, I want something to eat. I could put something in my mouth. When you eat like this on the keto diet, you just don't feel like eating more after you're done with your meal. Once it's in your system, you're kind of just like, okay, good, I'm good. And then next thing you know, 4 or 5 hours or 5 hours have gone by, 6 hours, and you're like, oh, wow, maybe I should eat. And if suddenly you do get hungry, you realize it's been like 4 or 5, 6 hours since you've last eaten. So the whole thing about like you needing, a whole bunch of willpower to have this diet, I really don't think so. In fact, I think that this diet is perfect for people who have poor willpower. Because if you eat enough fat, you're not hungry. You do not want food. After you get past the keto flu and once your body has switched into keto and stops running on glucose, you stop craving those things. Now, if I'm with my kids and they're eating pizza and I see that pizza, do I want it? Duh. Of course I do. I mean, that's anything. I mean, it wouldn't matter what kind of diet I was on. I'm going to want to eat whatever my kids are eating. I'm going to want to eat whatever is in front of me, So, but what do? I don't eat it. I don't need to. I go and I find something else for myself to eat and I eat it. Right now I'm cooking 2 different meals because my kids don't like what I'm eating, and they're primarily eating Korean food. So I have to make bokkeumbap for my kids, and then, with rice. Rice is people okay. Bokkeumbap is like fried rice kind of. And kimchi bokkeumbap, or like spam kimchi bokkeumbap or whatever. You put it all in one pan with rice, and you toss it with some sesame seed oil and other spices, and it becomes delicious and wonderful. And honestly, it's one of my favorite things to eat with eggs. But I don't eat it because it's actually easier on ketosis, because you know that if you have a cheat meal, there are real consequences. That's the difference between keto and a different diet that's like just calorie restriction. Because when you're on a calorie restricted diet, you're like, anytime you want something, you're like, oh yeah, I can have that. It'll be fine. I'll just, I'll fit it into my whatever. I'll just do it this way, and I'll fit it in my calories, and oh, I can have a cheat meal today. And it doesn't really matter, because the consequences are too abstract in that moment to overcome your desire to eat, or the desire to fill your face. But when you are on keto and you go through the keto flu and it's hell, and you're like, oh, wow, this sucks. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, I would really love a piece of pizza. And your brain thinks back on that keto flu and goes, well, if I have one slice of pizza, if I have one slice of pizza, which is, I don't even know how many carbohydrates, like a regular pizza, not keto pizza, but regular pizza. If I have regular pizza, I am out of ketosis. One single piece, I am out of ketosis. And now it's going to take me 4 more days of hell to go back into ketosis. So now you've lost 5 days. And it's not just that you ate these shitty calories. Now you have 4 or 5 days of hell to go through, and you've lost time that you could have been losing weight. So you recognize that the consequences are immediate.